Hello friends, I'm George, the nice smelling gentleman. Welcome back to the channel guys, I hope that all of you are doing well. A while back I did a short video where I listed 4 cheap scents that always bring a smile to my face. And in today's video I'm going to expand a little bit on that idea, and for today I've prepared a list of a total of 12 cheap fragrances that always make me smile, that always bring a smile to my face. The first 4 fragrances that I'm going to show you in today's video will be the very same scents that I actually listed in that short video a while back. And the first one comes from the brand of Meson Alhamra, and it's called Casas, and this one is very heavily inspired by none other than Parfum de Marly's Carlisle. I absolutely love the original fragrance, and I really like what Meson Alhamra have done with Casas. It's pretty similar to the original scent, carries that very same boozy, tobacco-based scent profile that has a lot of fruity sweetness, a lot of vanillic sweetness. There are some woodsy notes, there are some spicy notes, but all around it's about the mix of the sweet notes, the boozy and the tobacco. It's a very dark, very sexy, very masculine scent that I absolutely love. The original is superb, has great performance, and Casas actually has a pretty good quality considering that it costs a fraction of the original price. It also has a very decent performance, it's a very strong, very loud fragrance, and all around I absolutely love it. The second one comes from the brand of Afnan, and it's probably their most well-known fragrance, and it's called 9 p.m. This one is very heavily inspired by Jean-Paul Gaultier's Uomo. Carries very similar scent to the original fragrance, although Afnan have done a bit of a twist on the scent profile in here, and they've replaced the sweet pear note in the opening of the original fragrance with a slightly fresher, still sweet but fresher apple note. Other than that, carries a very similar scent. You got the vanilla, you got the mint, you know, all the other notes that all the other DNA that Uomo is known for. A fantastic performer, fantastic projector as well, a high compliment getting fragrance that all around I absolutely love. I've always found this to be a very easy to wear fragrance. I'm pretty often reaching for this one. I have a few backup bottles of this. All around I absolutely love 9 p.m. and I think it's a great twist on the original DNA. The next one comes from the brand of Fragrance World, and it's called Harmony Code Absolute, and this one is inspired by Armani's Code Absolute, a fantastic original designer fragrance that unfortunately has been discontinued for quite a while. It's very hard to find, and it's usually very expensive because of the fact that it's been discontinued. I love pretty much almost all fragrances from the original Code line, and I'm really happy that Fragrance World have done such a good job with Harmony Code Absolute, because again I love the original, but it's very hard to get nowadays and very expensive. Very similar to the original fragrance, carries that very sweet, very sexy scent profile that has a nice amount of powderness, a nice amount of sexy suede leather. All around a great fragrance that works fantastically as a date night scent. Very nice for a cold weather, for a night time, and again especially as a date night fragrance. Very good quality, very good performance, and the best thing out of all is the fact that this is pretty cheap. Usually costs about 20-25 euros, $20-25, which makes it an absolute steal in my opinion. Again, especially considering that the original fragrance has been discontinued and it's very hard to get. And the last fragrance that comes from the original short video will be from Alwatania, and it's called Cayenne Classic, and to this day this is the best clone or inspiration of Dior Homme Intense. One of my all-time most favorite fragrances, the original one, and again I think to this day this is the highest quality Dior Homme Intense clone that you can get your hands on. Unfortunately it's pretty hard to find nowadays. It's a little bit more expensive, but again pretty hard to find, which it's a real shame in my opinion, because I really think that more people that love the original fragrance should be able to get their hands on a bottle of this one. Performance wise, pretty similar to the original, not as good but still very nice performer. Quality here is fantastic, carries very similar scent. To my nose, this has always felt like a little bit sweeter, a little bit more of a chocolatey version of the original DNA, but other than that, unmistakably close to Dior Homme Intense. The next one that I'm going to show you is one of my recent purchases. It comes from the brand of Armaf, and it's called Uomo Rosso, and this one is very heavily inspired by Paco Rabanne's Invictus Victory Elixir. Very similar to the original scent, but carries a few twists, and the main thing here is the fact that this feels a little bit fresher compared to the original scent, has a slightly brighter opening compared to the original fragrance, and on the dry down feels a little bit less sweet compared to the original, but other than that, very similar to the original scent from Paco Rabanne. Offers very nice quality, offers very good performance. The price is very low on this one, and again, probably the only drawback of this fragrance is the very tacky and ugly bottle that Armaf have come out with, but it's a member of the tagline, and all fragrances from this line look the same and have the same ugly bottle, just in a different color. I really think that this is a hidden gem of a fragrance because there are not too many reviews on this one, not too many people are talking about this one, and I really think this deserves more attention. Next, I'll go over a few lattafa scents. The first one will be Vintage Radio from the current Lattafa Pride line. This one comes really uniquely packaged in a unique looking bottle, and this one is heavily inspired by Initio's Paragon. Very similar to the original fragrance. I love the original scent, and I love what Lattafa did with Vintage Radio. Super similar to the original scent. Has this very nice, very sweet and juicy plum note that the original fragrance has. A bit of spices, a nice amount of woodsy notes in there as well, and that mix of the woodsy notes and the sweet plum note make for an absolutely fantastic fragrance. Whenever I smell this, for some reason, this absolutely immediately just brings a smile to my face, and I think it's down to that juicy plum note. For some people, this may lean a little bit to the feminine side, and I can understand why, but I've never had a problem wearing this fragrance. It has fantastic quality, it has fantastic performance, very high compliment factor. It's also pretty versatile because it can work in warm weather. It has good performance, enough performance to work in cold weather, and all around offers a very nice experience. And my second Lattafa suggestion is one of my all-time most favorite Lattafa fragrances, and one of the first Lattafa fragrances that I actually added to my collection, almost 2 years ago, and it's called Amir Al Oud Intense. To this day, I think this is an absolute gem of a fragrance from Lattafa. It's inspired by the Fireplace from Maison Margiela. It's not a one-to-one clone. This feels a little bit sweeter, a little bit less smoky compared to the original fragrance, but all around it's a fantastic scent, and I absolutely love it. I love the mix of the sweet notes in here that have been mixed with some spices, with some woodsy notes, with a nice amount of incense as well, giving it a nice smoky note without being too overwhelming when it comes to the smoky notes. It offers fantastic performance and fantastic projection, perfectly unisex, all around a very cozy scent that whenever I smell, just absolutely immediately brings a smile to my face. And again, to this day, this remains one of my most favorite Lattafa fragrances. My next suggestion is not super cheap of a fragrance, at least on some markets like around here, although it still is a few times cheaper compared to the original scent that it's been inspired by. It comes from the brand of the Ouds collection, and it's called Dusk. And this is one of the highest quality alternatives to Parfums de Marly Layton that you can get your hands on. I love the original fragrance, and whenever I smell Dusk, again, immediately brings a smile to my face. It has a slight twist compared to the original scent. This one feels a little bit more fruity, a little bit sweeter, a little bit less green and spicy in the opening. The dry down is very similar. All around offers very good quality and very similar scent to the original fragrance. It brings that very same captive, festive mood that I get out of the original fragrance, and it's a fantastic scent for the cold weather. Offers very good quality, a magnetic cap, very nice packaging. My next suggestion comes from the brand of Meson Alhamra, and it's probably my most favorite Meson Alhamra fragrance, and it's called Exclusive Tabac. This one is inspired by Carolina Herrera's Mystery Tobacco, and in here the scent is all about the spicy, sweet tobacco based scent. I absolutely love this fragrance. That combination of the sweet tobacco and the boozy notes in here just always make me smile, Offers very nice quality, offers very good performance, very good projection. All around, this is a real gem from Meson Alhamra. Again, probably my most favorite Meson Alhamra fragrance at the current time. My next suggestion comes from the brand of a fragrance world and their Posh line of fragrances, and it's called Posh Omega, and this one is inspired by Jean-Paul Gaultier's Le Mot Essence de Parfum. The original was an absolutely fantastic scent that unfortunately got discontinued and never really gained that much traction, which in my opinion is a real shame, but thankfully Fragrance World have done a great clone of that original scent. It carries a very interesting scent profile, quite unique, it's very spicy, has a very nice cardamom note, has lots of vanilla sweetness. You get some powderness from a tonka bean note, there's a nice amount of leather in here. It's slightly green, you know, slightly woodsy. A very interesting and unique scent that's super sexy, and at the same time, in the case of Posh Omega, offers really nice performance as well. My next suggestion comes from the brand of Haramain, and it's part of the Amber Oud line, and it's called Amber Oud Black Edition. And here the word black is very nicely used because the fragrance is very dark and at the same time super sexy, and I absolutely love this fragrance. Whenever I smell it, it just automatically brings a smile to my face. It's a very interesting scent that's an original creation. It's somewhat similar to Afan Fabulous from Tom Ford, but not a clone of that one. It has a nice spicy opening with a bit of citruses and a bit of sort of an aromatic notes from the lavender note, but very soon turns into this very dark fragrance that has a lot of leather, a lot of ambery sweetness, and ashy tobacco note. All around another very unique, very interesting scent. It's unisex, leans to the masculine side, and it's an absolutely fantastic performer. Beast when it comes to longevity, beast when it comes to projection. Probably the only drawback of this one is that it's a little bit more expensive, like any other member of the Amber Oud line, but you get a fantastic quality and performance in return. And my last suggestion in today's video will be another one of those very recent purchases of mine. It comes from the brand of Fomo, and it's called Garis Den Leopardo. This one is inspired by none other than my most favorite fragrance, all-time most favorite men's fragrance, which is Dior Homme Parfum. Now, it's not a one-to-one clone. This feels a little bit different, but definitely carries a lot of that original spirit of the original fragrance from Dior. You still get the iris, the lipsticky iris, you still get the musk, you still get some of the woodsy notes that the original fragrance has, you still get some of that sweetness of the original fragrance, but this here feels a little bit sweeter. It feels it's like it doesn't have a rose note like the original fragrance has. The leather note is used in a different way compared to the original scent. You know, all around it again carries a very similar scent profile, but at the same time it's quite different. But I really like this one. It feels like a more balsamic, more oily version of the original fragrance, if that makes any sense. So far from my tasting, performance has been absolutely fantastic with this one. Projects really nicely, and I'm really happy that Nutino finally started to carry this the whole line from Fomo here in Europe, so I could finally was able to get my hands on a bottle of Garis Den. So guys, in today's video I showed you 12 cheap fragrances that whenever I smell bring a huge smile on my face. I hope that you found this video interesting or entertaining. If you did, give it a like, and I also hope that you're going to join me in the next one. And until then, stay safe and bye bye.